Hello, everybody. Reggie Time here, and in just a few moments, we're going to be discussing just a small number of hands I played last night on Sky Poker with a gentleman called William, who first approached me 3 years ago or more now for some help on his game when he was thinking he was playing 10-L on Sky. He's now a much better player than me. He's moved on. He doesn't play on Sky anymore. He's travelled around the world a little bit. He was playing on the apps for a bit. He moved out to Thailand, I think, and now he's back in the UK due to the COVID situation. And he reached out to me to actually volunteer to do this, which I thought was very kind of him. So shout out to him. Hopefully, we'll have just a general good old chinwag, discuss the hand a little bit, discuss some of the issues I'm having with poker at the moment. Before we get into that, a couple of shout outs. First one, if you are watching this on Friday, the 22nd of October 2021, and it's before 7 p.m., be sure to go and tune into Waller, who will be streaming some Sky Poker tournaments tonight. He's a very entertaining watch. He crushes cans like an absolute beast. He shouts a lot at his computer. Sometimes it's hard to know whether he's won or lost because he shouts fuck off a lot. You get to come on now and again. He's really entertaining. He's a far better player than he gives himself credit for. He's a fantastic watch. So do go ahead and watch Waller. When you finish watching Waller, have a kip. And Saturday around 7 p.m, go to Duesenberg's Twitch channel where you will watch me and him doing a dual stream on a Saturday night playing tournaments. It'll be two middle-aged men who are a little bit fucking salty, very cross, very angry, and probably being quite disrespectful to most of their opponents and tournament poker in general. We're doing that for charity. So we're trying to raise some money for a group local to me that provides like social activities for teenagers and young adults with learning disabilities. They're having a Christmas prom this year, and I'm hoping to raise a few £100 to give to them. They can hopefully just make the prom a little bit nicer. I haven't got anything particularly in mind for it, but I'm sure if we can give them an extra £200, £300, £400, I'm sure they'll be able to use it very wisely and give the youngsters who are attending the Christmas prom an even better experience. No doubt it already will be. So yeah, go ahead and watch that. Go ahead and watch the stream. And if you can afford to, if you want to pop us a couple of quid, 5 or 10 or 20, whatever you can afford, just pop along, enjoy the stream and make a donation. Finally, click some links beneath the video for the BBZ stuff because I'm trying to do some affiliate work with them. I'll be honest with you, it hasn't got off to the fastest of starts. So yeah, if you could support me by clicking some of the affiliate links and purchasing some BBC stuff, that would be absolutely marvelous. But if you don't want to, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll just have to have little baked beans to the Heinz baked beans owner because the economy is tough and I need some more money. So yeah, we'll take it there. We'll leave it there for now. Sorry, we'll be back very soon with William, and we'll be looking at some hands that I probably didn't play very well on Sky, and hopefully someone who's much better than me will tell me what I'm doing wrong, or just try and fix my head a little bit. So here's William. I don't know if you want to tell my esteemed viewers what you've been up to lately. I give a slight introduction saying that you started on Sky, didn't you? Because you reached out to me probably in 2017. And we did a little bit of work together. Then you went your own way and got a lot better. And then you played on the apps for a bit and fucked off to Thailand for a bit, didn't you? But now you're back in the UK. So what are you up to at the minute?
Hi, mate. Cheers for having me on the channel. Yeah, that's basically it. Started off on Sky 4 years ago now. Doesn't seem that long. But yeah. Played on Sky for quite a while. It was actually your channel that got me into playing online cash games. So I contacted you and then you helped me kind of move up. And then I think I've tried tournaments a few times and then obviously come crawling back to cash like we all do. And then moved to the apps, went to Thailand for a bit. COVID got a little scary over there. So I came back and now I'm here for a while, just kind of planning my next move really.
So where are you going to be playing? Are we okay to give your Sky name away? Because you don't
yeah,
play anymore. You were JTDiamond. JTDiamond, weren't you?
Yeah, it's a cool username, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fucking amazing. Like a lot of the players when you were playing, a lot of them have moved over to tournaments now. You probably remember Splashes. He plays tournaments now. Sharkio, Maurizio. A lot of the old Sky regs just don't seem to play. They don't play cash on Sky anymore. Some of them turn up in tournaments. But with you saying that, you tried tournaments and you came crawling back to cash, I actually think there's more of a migration away from cash than there is to cash. I mean, the Sky Streets these days, they're still soft, but the days of there being like 30 tables running at peak times are fucking long
Well,
gone.
yeah, that's the
Long,
thing. I
long
think
gone.
the volume over there, it's not like there's never enough tables really if you want to like really put loads of volume in. Like I suppose it depends on the stakes as well. But but yeah, like if you're playing cash, you probably want to like have multiple sites on the go. Um, but at the moment, yeah, I'm mainly a cash player. Like I just prefer it. Like I just think the tournament variance, particularly like big tournaments, is pretty crazy. So I like kind of split it like 80-20 in
So
cash favor.
are you still flogging away on the apps, or are you back on the
Yeah,
mainstream sites? Yeah,
yeah, I'm on the apps. I just think for now it's my favorite place to play.
excellent.
Um, I get on with the agent really well, which I think is important with that sort of thing because obviously you hear with some apps you hear some horror stories, but luckily I've been with the same agent for a long time and it works
Yeah,
well.
I enjoyed it when I was involved in the apps. I enjoyed playing on them. I enjoyed doing the affiliate work, but the deeper you dig into that world, the fucking murkier it gets. And my anxiety just got too much in the end. Like, you get to hear all the little niggles that are getting fixed behind the scenes, and you're like, this is one fuck up away from a lot of people feeling disappointed in me. And it just got too much for me. I was like, no, I need to get out now. I made a good amount of money, to be fair. And then I just ran away because there were just more of my certain apps were like banned in Australia and this, that, and I thought this net's fucking closing in, and I want to get myself and any of my players who are a bit risk averse out of there before things go belly up. So yeah, I'm glad to be away from it, but I'm glad to hear you're still doing well on it. So are you still enjoying poker?
Yeah, yeah, I still enjoy it. I think I mentioned this to you. I'm pretty sure I did. But basically, like after probably like a year and a half after I started playing, like it kind of went pretty well. I had like a decent bankroll on Sky, but then like I made the dumb decision to I was basically just very young and naive, and I thought I could become like a poker player slash investor, despite knowing like nothing about investing. Never invested anything in my life, apart from maybe like an ISA with like Santander or something. So long story short, I got scammed out of most of my bankroll. So I then had to like go back down the limits and like regrind back up. So that it was more the kind of mental, because obviously you've played poker long enough, like how mentally tough it can be sometimes if you're going through like a downswing, and like how you got to like keep trucking on. But like with that thrown in the mix, it was like mentally tough.
Yeah, I can
But
imagine.
but it's almost like more affirming that like when you bounce back from something like that, you know you've got it in you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you've got that. When you need to be resilient if you're going to play poker for a long time and try and make some kind of income stream out of it. Whether that's like me and you make like part of an income to support other incomes that you have, or whether you want poker to be your sole income, you have to be resilient. If you're not resilient, you just fucking pack in. Just approach it recreationally and what have you, because there's so many knocks along the way. Knocks to your finances, knocks to your confidence, knocks to your emotional well-being, knocks to your mental health. There's so much that you've got to go through, and you simply have to be resilient. There's probably lots of really potentially good players who have just not made it because they just can't handle all the shit that, well, not just like poker, but like life in general throws at you. And then if poker's throwing a bit of shit on top, all of a sudden, the world can become a pretty dark and unpleasant place. And if you can't battle your way through that and keep just that kind of try and keep a bit of perspective, which a lot of players struggle with, then yeah, the job's just not going to be for you. And that's kind of what I was talking about today. Not I haven't been downswinging, but I've been on like a confidence downswing and a motivation downswing, which is why I'm happy to talk to someone today rather than do a thingy video. I was talking to Magic Matt Bates last night a bit in Discord. He was kind enough to PM me after I made a post about my motivation. He and it was very kind of him to come in because he's like an older school player like me, been around a long time, made plenty of money when it was easy. He's admitted he's not as confident in his game as he used to be, but he's still a fucking machine. He's still a boss. You probably know
Is
Matt
he the
Bates.
tournament guy?
Yeah, he's a tournament guy. He's a like all time.
Yeah, he's really good.
Oh
like,
yeah, he's really good. And but when people like Matt can be like, you know what, I'm not always that confident. It makes you realise just what a fragile thing poker confidence is.
It is definitely, yeah. And people like it's like with social media, everyone always puts up their like highest moments, but you don't know. You know what I mean? Like you don't always see the full picture with people. Like there's probably people you think, oh, they're amazing at poker, but I think it's a fine balance because you want to be confident in your game because you need to be, but you also need to be very open to listening to other points of view and not be like set in your ways completely where you don't listen to if something changes in like how the game's going or like you notice that you're doing something wrong, you got to be willing to change that as well.
Well,
so
that's
yeah,
interesting you say that because I've my game's gone through more changes since probably July time than it's been through in a fucking long time, and I think I probably have a slightly better understanding of the game now than I had 3 months ago. But it feels like I used to have like a pretty good basic strategy that was good for the games I played in and worked really well. And I was always of the mindset of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Then I tried fixing it, and my results have still been pretty decent. I can't complain. My enjoyment levels of the game have gone down significantly because I find myself in other spots now where I used to I wouldn't say know what to do, but at least I knew what my strategy was, and now I fucking don't. Now I get to spots, and there's going to be a few hands here I where I'd used to, ages ago, to been there. I just know what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to keep things pretty basic and like just do one thing or the other. But now I've got like, there's 2 or 3 things I could do here, and I'm never really sure which is the fucking best one. So that affects your confidence a little bit, and then kind of going on from that, if your confidence starts getting affected, you stop enjoying it. And I've not been enjoying poker for fucking weeks and weeks and weeks now, really. Now and again I do. When I play like lower stakes and I'm at like really good soft tables, I enjoy it because that's just my natural environment. But it's not as easy as it used to be on Sky to get tables with four regulars, 4x, and just you and one of the regulars. So most of the time now, it's me, like this table basically, me, 3 of the regulars, and hopefully usually 2 fish, only 1 at this time. And so it's kind of like you've got to try and mix your strategy between like this is what I do against regs, this is what I do against fish, and it's just really hard. It's like you try to keep too many fucking plates spinning now. When I used to just have a really nitty, basic, like post flop, I've either got a good hand or I've got a good draw, so I'm going to be aggressive, or I've got a marginal hand, so I'm going to be a bit more passive with it, or I've got air, and I'm going to choose some of that air to bluff, but not very much of it. And that was a really easy, basic strategy to deliver the printed money on Sky. Now I've got lots of different things going through my head about, right, all parts of my range need to be betting in certain points, all parts of my range need to be checking at certain points, in order to try and be a little bit more balanced. And maybe I'm playing a little bit better, but it fucking certainly doesn't feel like I am. I actually think I'm playing a lot worse compared to like how I think I can play, and it's really affected my confidence against regulars. It's affected my like desire to fucking grind a lot of the time. It really has, because I look at the tables, we're like, all right, well, every table's got at least three regs on, so most of my pots are going to be played against regs. I don't enjoy that very much because not that I think the better than me. I think most of the regs on Sky aren't better than me. I think we're on much of a muchness with 1 or 2 that are probably better, some that are like a little bit worse. But the fact that the regulars, and the fact that I was saying this to Matt last night, they're using like modern sizings, like betting a lot smaller in some spots, using larger sizes and over bets. So you like, look at them and think, oh, these guys know what they're doing, but they probably fucking don't.
Yeah, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
So like the sizes they're using and then the frequencies probably don't match up, but it's much harder to like tell how to exploit them now. Like in the past, if someone bet small, they were probably quite weak. Someone bet big, they were probably quite strong. But now, like on certain board textures, people are using certain different sizes which they're meant to use. But I'm far from convinced they're using them anywhere near the right frequency, and it's just boggling me fucking mind. So I'm not wanting to play at tables with three other regulars because most of the time it's going to be in spots that I'm not understanding very well and not enjoying. So my volume's been really quite shit, and I've just not been enjoying the game. So I don't know if you can like got any
Well, it's a
pearls
shame
of
that
wisdom.
because obviously, you know, if it's not the main reason, it should at least be the second main reason. Like we play this game is because we enjoy it.
Yeah, of course,
So
absolutely.
so it's a shame that you're saying that. With regards to what you're saying in terms of like strategy, like it's kind of like when I first realized this, like it's pretty crazy how if you change like even like one small thing, like it can make everything else like very different, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's say like you before, like this is just an example. Let's say you only bet half pot on the flop or checked. That's all you did. But then like you change it to throwing in like third pot, half pot, three quarters, or let's say third pot, half pot, and pot. You're gonna have because you have like a turn and a river. It's like exponential, like the amount of different scenarios you'll get yourself in, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
So
totally do.
like, yeah, I mean, I've always been an advocate of keeping things as like a simple strategy played well that's not quite as good as like a complicated strategy is far better than a complicated strategy not played so well, if you know what I mean. Because like it's way easier to like make mistakes if like you're not sure. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I don't have to play
What you're
words.
saying there is like I have quite a few chats with this guy, Lewis Camel. He's been very helpful to me. He's a very good young man, and he says exactly the same thing. You know, you're better off. I mean, he is someone who studies a hell of a lot. He's going to be a good player. I mean, he's a good player now, but if he keeps his study up, he's going to be, you know, pretty damn fucking good. I would imagine if he wants to be, and I think like, a lot of the stuff he's helped me with has been really good, but I don't think it's been good for me, and that's no disrespect to him. I just think I'm 47. I'm probably too old to learn too many new fucking tricks. Maybe not too old if I really put everything into it, but I think I'm too old to put everything into it, and I just want poker to be like a relaxing hobby that makes me enough money where I don't have to go and like take orders from some shit house who I don't want to take orders from. And I
Yeah,
think I've tried to push myself a little bit too much, and it's not really worked out for me. And it's no one's fault but my own. But yeah, I do think that I need to go back to just playing a far more simpler strategy, accepting that people like Dan especially are just going to have an edge on me and deal with that, and just make sure I'm at tables where even if I am losing to Dan, I'm still making enough money from the rest of the table where it doesn't matter too much because a lot of these other regulars, and no disrespect to Liam, Liam is someone who I think still does a lot of things right in terms of he doesn't like he's changed his game too much. He still plays a game he was playing several years ago,
I
and
remember. I
he's
remember
been around.
Liam.
Yeah,
Listen,
he's been around the Sky for donkey's years. He just gets the fucking job done, and I kind of wish he was a bit more like Liam in terms of no, just get at the tables. Liam doesn't battle tough tables. He gets himself on good tables. Just plays a what seems like a pretty simple ABC strategy and just gets the job done. And I think if I can get myself back to that, but you've got to kind of not unlearn things, but just forget a lot of the stuff and say, right, I'm putting that to one side, and we're getting back to a more basic strategy. Like exactly as you said, I've got about 4 different fucking flop bet sizings now, and that's fine on the flop. I think I play flops pretty well, but my play on turns and rivers has got. We're going to see in this video, it's got fucking worse and worse because I get to so many spots on turns and rivers where I just don't know what I want to be doing anymore. I don't know what I'm trying to represent. It's just I'm messed up, mate. I'm pretty fucking messed up at the minute. And
I think one thing I've noticed because I enjoy watching your videos. From watching your videos in the last few weeks, or maybe even as far as like maybe 2 months or so, it does kind of seem like you're kind of moving around different strategies a lot.
absolutely,
You know what I
completely
mean?
am. Yeah, it's well because I don't know what fuck I'm doing anymore. That's why. You
Yeah,
know, I'll watch something or I'll hear something or I'll be told something. I'll start doing it, but I'm doing it because I've been told to, not because I really understand why to fucking do it. Like I started like betting like 1/5 pot, 1/4 pot flops, 1/3 pot, fucking 40. I've got a zillion different flop sizings, and then I get to yeah, you're right. I'm messed up, and I've been trying to build too much into my game and without really knowing what the fuck I'm trying to achieve by doing it, I guess. Yeah, I'm never going to be someone who's going to be able to follow GTO type strategies. I always used to have a bit of a clue about like just be relatively well balanced. Rich don't always just the basic like 2015 2016 version of being balanced, which is usually bet pretty good with your value hands, but occasionally check them. And it used to just be I'd just randomly do that, but now I'm trying to look at board textures and be like, well, I go down thought processes that don't take me to a conclusion because I don't really know how to go down those thought processes to take me to a conclusion. So yeah, I'm probably explaining this quite badly because that's
no, I get what you mean totally.
My wiring in my head is like proper fucked at the minute. When I play like just 20 and L 2 or 3 tables, I think I play pretty well. When I start playing the 30 and L and sometimes 50 and L games where there's a higher concentration of regs, I just feel like I'm at depth. But anyway, we've got it out of the way. We'll probably come back to it when we look at some of these hands. We'll start off with this first hand with Liam. And of course, my phone rings when I'm making a video. Why the fuck wouldn't it? It's fucking scary how often that happens. I'll have to just wait. It probably it can wait. So this is like a hand straight away where I just know we shouldn't have a raising range. So I have no issue with this bit. This is the same since fucking.
It's a good flop, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same since G dot. There's just no reason to have a raising range there.
Could pre-flop? Would you consider 3-betting or never?
Sorry, let this fucking stupid message go. I can't think while that message is going.
No,
I'm not one for 3-betting pairs too often. I don't think not these types of pairs anyway. Maybe I should with 2 decent regulars in the blinds.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, with that lineup in the blinds, I'd probably lean a little more towards 3-bet, but like I kind of think calling's fine as well. It's like it's just a little consideration, It's not.
I think Liam is not a folder to 3-bets. So I think a lot of the time that will put me in a spot where against Liam, what I'm really rubbish at is playing like the medium strength hand. So Liam might call a bit, then it might have come down. Maybe it didn't come down this flop, but it comes down, I don't know, like 10-6-4 or something like that. And I wouldn't know how to play down the streets against Liam with pocket eights, because that's a pretty marginal hand in the 3-bet pot. Because let's say Liam, we don't have stats on Sky, but I'd imagine his 4-3-bet is one of the lower ones amongst the regulars. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But we probably, and I know a lot of people are 3-betting pairs a lot now. It's not something I do because I end up just getting to flops in bloated pots with medium strength hands and just don't know how to fucking play them, frankly.
Yeah, like 8s is like it's right on that line, isn't it? Like, I think 9s, like, I'd definitely want a 3-bet, but like 8s is like kind of, for me, it's like right on that line between calling a 3-bet in, like not in certain spots, if you know what I mean. But yeah, anyway, so let's. Sorry for the
No, it's fine.
Slight diversion.
It's exactly what I'm wanting. I like being pushed by people who are better than me to explain why I haven't done something, and a lot of the time it's going to be because I'm not fucking good enough to do it.
Not at all.
It's this term where like I would never have done this in the past, but now I'm like, because what size would you be going here? He's checked to us now. In the past, I would just have gone like, I don't know, 2/3 pot here, just try and get 2 streets of value from what I presume is going to be something like some King Jack, King 10, King Queen type hand. When he doesn't barrel, I think it's unlikely he has Ace King or better. But he's either giving up or he's trying to get to showdown. So in the past, I would just have gone something like, I don't know, 282, 380 here. Maybe a little bit bigger because the flush cards appeared.
That sounds good to me. I think that sounds good.
So why did I do this then? Why did I? I overbet because I kind of thought, well, he's either got a hand he's trying to get to showdown with, so I want to just generally make it expensive for him to do that, or he's just got a hand that's not putting any more money in, so it doesn't really matter. So, but if I don't think he's got Ace King here, do I really think a regular's going to call a turnover bet with like King 10, King Jack, given that we're not going to have too many bluffs here because the flop would what hands are we going to call that flop with it, and now going to want to overbet the turn except sets. Maybe we could have some like backdoor flush stuff or whatever. Can I just pause just a minute, mate? My mum's trying to ring me.
Yeah, sure.
So anyway, yeah, we're back to this, and I can't remember what I was saying exactly, but um,
We were debating between like sizings here, like over bet or the kind of standard 3/4, 2/3,
yeah, and
or maybe even a third if you wanted to. But
yeah,
I'd say more 2/3, 3/4.
yeah,
What I'd say is I'd lean more towards the kind of 2/3, 3/4, like the range you kind of said earlier with was it 280 to 380? You said,
yeah.
just cause he's like checked, like unless he's going for like could have like some king 10, like the kind of kings that want to that aren't 3 street value hands. So he wants to kind of like slow down pop control. This sizing works great against that. But maybe other hands like, I don't know, pocket pairs between kings and eights won't want to call. And also you kind of got to know your customer as well. Like, do you think that Liam will call like this bet?
Well, that's a good question, because I think lots of players would check call this size with King X against lots of other players, but Liam, he'll know me like the back of his fucking hand. He'll know my nit. So I mean, is this, given the dynamic Liam and I probably have, which is he thinks I'm a fucking nit? It's just really a good size for me to be using with my image as a fucking nit. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do spew a little bit sometimes, and people will be aware of that because we all do. But generally speaking, Liam will be very aware of how fucking nitty I am. So, I mean, is this a good size with that dynamic in play?
I suppose, yeah, you could say that. But
I think
yeah,
it's not.
I think
If you're saying you think it is, bearing in mind that you think it's a minute, I'm saying I don't think it is a good size because of my image.
I know what you mean, but like it's like that's just like kind of one part of the puzzle, if you know what I mean. Like, or he might just call with a king as well, and also the fact you've got like second set is really good because you're not blocking top pair, if you know what I mean. So
and
that
that's
kind of
where
tends to.
that's where I went with his size, because I was just hoping he had some King X, maybe some pocket threes that he was getting cute with, but I didn't think so. I was just trying to like target his King X, but I wasn't sure if this was
I
going
think
to
it's fine. Yeah.
make him fold. He did call, and
You're a genius.
then we get that. Well, I don't know because I don't play the river like a genius. Then we get that river, and I didn't know what to fucking do at this point. Like, well, does he really have flush draws? I mean, and I thought he probably barrels his flush draws on the turn himself if he did have some kind of backdoor flush draw. I was kind of worried that he can definitely have pocket queens and play this way. And I didn't know what. I mean, I ended up just time banking down and checking here, which I think is probably pretty bad. But the pot's at an awkward spot now. I think that I'm not sure who the effective stack is. Well, the same. And we've got like 1 1/3 pot size bets left, maybe 1.5 pot size bets. Do we jam here? Do we bet small fold to a raise? Do we bet call? I just didn't fucking know. And this is just like a lot of the spots I'm getting myself into, where my play on earlier streets is getting me to spots on rivers where I just have literally no idea what to do here. I don't know if this is a check, if it's a bet small call, bet small fold, or just jam. No fucking clue.
Okay. Can I make a prediction? If you tell me if I'm right or wrong here, like, are you checking here because you're worried about getting check raised?
No, I'm checking here because I literally, I was, I got the time back down to like maybe 1/5 of the way to go, and I still hadn't made a fucking decision on what to do. So I just, in the end, just fucking check Reggie, because I didn't want to like rush the last few seconds and just like you do on Sky, just scramble to a random bet size and see what happens. I was torn between just betting like £5, maybe betting like £9 or £10 or shoving, and I couldn't decide between them. The time bank got quite low, and in the end, I just gave up thinking and just fuck it, just check, which is really shit, of course. But I'm just being honest. I didn't have a clue which size to choose, so I ended up just panicking and choosing none.
Yeah.
Panic's the wrong word. Just getting really annoyed with the fact I couldn't.
You didn't
decide.
know what size, so it got you. Okay, and the time bank's pretty quick on Sky, isn't it, as well? So it's quite unforgiving in that regard.
I mean, it's not as fast as it's going to look on this video because I speed it up a little bit. But yeah, it still is pretty fast. But I just didn't know. And just that got to that point where it's like, I just don't fucking know anymore. I don't know which size to choose, and I just give up thinking and checked. That's the honest appraisal of what happened on
Yeah,
that river.
no worries, no worries. Okay, well, looking at this spot, like, you are right with what you say. Like, the fact that the clubs have come in, that you'd expect him at least sometimes to barrel clubs, particularly on this king high dry board. Like it's quite a good board for him pre-flop, so a lot of players will just barrel. Um, but then again, maybe you could check like an ace high flush draw. Some people do, but so with your sizing, I think that I wouldn't shove. What is it like? You have the same as him, right? Like 23 something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't shove with the flush coming in. I don't. It's like what worse hands would you be called by? Maybe king queen, um, ace king. He might call, but maybe not. Like I think that if you go for like, I'll be honest, like bet sizing, I had to do a bunch of work on it. Like because that I can definitely get. I think it's most people's weak spot bet sizing because there's so many different options. Um, but just thinking about it, like trying to think about it logically, like I think that a £9 or £10 size works well here. Just like overall targeting where you could have like a king, basically.
Is that a fold if he check shoves?
Um, it's a rough spot. What from my experience, like in general, like river raises, like river check raises, just any sort of river raises, very very value heavy, and like I'll get into spots where it's like, oh yeah, he can't be this time surely, and then he just has it.
Yeah.
It was actually on your Facebook group a couple of years back. I can't remember what his name is. He's like a microstakes YouTuber. Alton something.
Oh yeah, Alter. Yeah, the guy who runs Micro Grinder. Yeah.
Yeah, him. Yeah, he posted a really interesting. It was like an Excel spreadsheet where he got like it was loads of hands. I think it was like 2 million hands or something, and it had like graphs of like what different spots. Like he basically did like a big like database analysis of like different spots. And I remember one of them was like river raises and like the proportion of like bluffs to value, something like that. Like I can't remember how he did it, but I think it was using hand to note or something. And the like value, it was like very, I can't remember the exact number, but it was like 90 something percent value, like 94 something, something crazy
Yeah,
like that.
I wouldn't be at all surprised. I can't remember last time I called a river race and it wasn't value. Not saying I always had the best hand because sometimes I had like nutted hands, but you could probably count on one hand the amount of times you get raised on the river in a 10,000 hand sample, and it's like just a pure bluff.
Yeah, yeah, it's just one of those spots where uh, you do see people bluff sometimes, but it's just not very common. Then again, here you've got like a set, and it's just rough in it. If let's say you bet £10, they jam, you just got a set, and
Yeah,
it's like, oh damn.
you're going to be getting like 4 and a bit to 1 on your call, and you still aren't getting the right enough equity because if you're getting about 4 to 1 on a call, you need to be bluffing 20% of the time, and they're probably not. They probably aren't bluffing 20% even. But
Yeah.
This goes back to I watched something last night from Phil Galfond started putting a few videos out just on Phil Galfond's channel, and he said something that fucking rang so true with me. Where one of his leaks, still to this day, but not as much, is that like sometimes he'll find spots where he knows he has to do something, but emotionally he's not prepared to do it. Like he'll get to a river and he'll be like, or a turn, and like, I should bluff this spot, but he can't force himself to do it, even though if he disconnected the emotions, it would be an easy bluff. He sometimes doesn't do things because he's like he makes emotional decisions rather than like logical decisions, and this is exactly that spot. Because looking now, this is a dead easy bet £10 fold to a shove.
Yeah.
Dead easy. It's the easiest thing in the fucking history of the world. But I couldn't find that last night, and that's probably due to my emotions. I probably knew quite early on to bet fold reg. It's a trivial bet fold, But because I don't want to deal with getting raised, I didn't make the fucking bet, which is probably why I thought jam's an option, just because you can't get fucking raised when you jam,
Yeah,
can you?
yeah, yeah.
You know, and so this is definitely like a spot where it's not so much to do with my like lack of fucking knowledge or my my strategy getting me in trouble. It's absolutely everything to do with my not wanting to fucking deal with something shit happening. So
Yeah,
just
yeah.
wimping out, I guess, because yeah, I mean, Betfold is absolutely the fucking line to
Yeah,
take.
and just be like, just keep it simple when you're thinking. Basically, like, you have a very, very strong hand here. Like, there's definitely a lot of worse hands you can call with. So bet, and the other bit of logic is river raises are very, very often super value heavy. So if they jam, you can just fold.
Yeah, I used
Like,
to be
that's fine.
a really good bet folder. Used to be fucking really good at it. I thought it was like one of my big strengths. I used to get told off for making some like what people said were like really nitty folds after I'd bet and been raised. Um, I used to be really good, but recently I'm not very good. And I don't know if you're familiar with the reg called Tommy D who plays on Sky. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
it's something I've discussed with him a lot in like group chat sessions and things. Where I'm just fucking rubbish at it now, you know. And I think I've paid him off in a couple of spots because he just knows, oh, Reg's bet is not folding, and I've got the fucking nuts. So he's
That
like
must
got
be
max value out of me.
that must be kind of interesting. Like in the when you're talking to regs that you play the same games as, like, because obviously you're kind of talking strategy, but then like you might level yourself into, but I've told them this, so then I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have the regular, like, not as regular as they were during the lockdowns, but we have like regular chats, and I think generally speaking, it's very honest. You know, there's no one's holding anything back, and they may be holding reads on they've got back on you personally, but we rarely do stuff like that. It's usually just someone will like show a session they played, and if a hand comes up with someone that's in the chat, there'll be a genuinely honest conversation. I don't think people are like holding back on it, but generally speaking, it's more, you know, just like how to play, how we're doing against the fish or other regulars that are in the Discord group, so we can call them all useless cunts behind the backs and stuff. But it's really nice. It's as much as anything else, it's just fun. You know, I've learned some things from it, but if it was just a learning tool, I wouldn't do it as much. It's just fun, like chatting to other people with similar interests, playing in similar games, playing in the same games a lot of the time, so you can like share opinions on certain players and things. It's just a lot of fun. If you were on Sky, I'd tell you to, I'd encourage you to come and join the group because I mean, it's a bunch of like 30 something to middle aged cunts like me. It's just a really nice place if you're a
Well,
Sky
I'd
player.
I'd jump in if that's all right. Like I don't obviously I don't play Sky a lot. I mean, I'm planning on playing. Are you planning on going to the live? It's in Manchester. Um,
People are asking me to, but probably not. There's still too much COVID around.
yeah,
For
yeah.
my liking. That my mum just said on the phone. Then she's asking about my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law's she got a positive test result yesterday. Now my father-in-law's got it too.
Oh wow.
I've done really well at avoiding it for like the last 18 months through basically never leaving the fucking house,
Yeah.
and I'm not really ready to yet. There's local games starting to fire up again in the local pubs. That I want to go and play, but I haven't done it yet. A few times I've actually got where I'm almost out of the door, and I'm like, no, I tell you what, Rich, don't bother because you're going to be sat close to a lot of people during COVID's peak. A lot of them would do my head in with their fucking like anti-vaccine fucking mental conspiracy theories, where you know if you fucking one of them told me that if I got it, I'd become magnetic. What the fuck are you talking?
Hey, that has its advantages.
All kinds of shit like that. And I'm like, do you really want to go and sit like elbow to elbow with a bunch of people who won't be wearing masks? They won't be fucking. I'd be there with a lot. I'd have my fucking mask, my hand sanitizer a lot. And then I've been watching some of the GUKPT streams, and they're some of the more intelligent poker players. And half them fuckers aren't wearing masks. I don't see a lot of fucking hand wash around. And I just no, I just don't think going and playing live poker's for me yet. So probably not. No, but UCOPS is coming up soon, so I'll probably play some of that, and I'd imagine you'll probably be firing a couple of UCOPS, I would say, because
I might do. I just saw it last night actually. Um, yeah, I might give that a go because
yes,
I've been enjoying the tournaments. There's a few tournaments on the apps I've played, and yeah, like although like I prefer cash, I'm sure you prefer cash.
yeah,
There's no feeling like running deep in a tournament.
no, of
Like
course
like
not.
getting to the final table, like it's exciting stuff.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And I've won like in August, I think it's September, one of the two, I can't remember which. I won a few tournaments because I was playing a few more tournaments, and even though the prize money up top wasn't great, like 300 or 400 quid or whatever, just the fucking buzz and the bragging rights of saying you've won. And like the mid-X or the Mega Stack, it's fucking brilliant. It's worth more than money almost.
It's pretty good for a night's work, that.
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it? Shame about the rest of the fucking month, but we'll forget about that. So yeah, well, what I'll do, mate, I'll send you the link to the Discord when we're finished, and yeah, come and join. And I'm sure could be used to be a scanner, people will be aware of you, and they might even encourage you to join in and play a little bit. You never know with a bit of luck. So yeah, we'll do that. So, anyways, we'll get through this, Andy, because we're 40 minutes into the video. We've reviewed one fucking hand so far, and he had I'm not sure if it's short. He had Ace King. And yeah, he definitely would have been bet calling.
I don't understand the check on the turn. Like, I guess maybe he's going for the check raise, but I'm not sure about that.
No, I mean, I'm not here to dig Liam out because I like him. He's someone. He's
always,
he's always friendly and chatty at the table and stuff. Maybe
he's a nice guy, yeah. But what I'm saying is like in terms of like how you played it, like you can't really expect to see Ace King. Like I didn't anyway, if you know what I mean. So like with your with how you played the hand, like apart from maybe betting £10 on the river, like yeah, I think that just get that river bet in, bet fold, and yeah, it'd be fine.
Yeah, I've been telling myself to start bet folding rivers for the last 3 months, and emotionally, I'm just not prepared to do it yet. I think, and I'm gonna have to because it was a little leak, and now it's becoming like a gaping fucking hole in my game. This next one doesn't stand to review; it's just in there purely for the purely for the hilarity of it. This might be. How old are you? Are you 28?
I'm 27.
20 is close enough. This one's just in for the pure fucking hilarity of it. I'd never met this guy in my life before. It's literally the first hand of the table. And he just called a 4-bet with 7-3 suited, which was fucking delightful until that happened. Like, fuck you,
but it could be delightful still.
Don't do that. And then that happened. So,
it's heartbreak on the river. And then reload straight away as well. Nice.
He did, but he didn't stick around long, unfortunately. He reloaded, played 2 more hands and fucked off, which is a shame.
I remember that on Sky. Like when your table starts sometimes and then someone would sit down with like a plane to catch. And you'd just be like, okay, strap in, boys. That
still happens. It's nice. I mean, and that's another thing that I haven't been doing a lot of lately, which I think a lot of my win rate used to come from just table starting and just like getting the fat value against the fish before the table fell, before the tables broke. I haven't been doing that lately. I've been joining more tables and table start. That's again something I need to get back to because regs don't sit and battle you, and I don't sit and battle regs. If there's, let's say, loose camels there starting tables, I'll just have his tables open, wait for it to maybe get 2 players, then pick the best seat. And then that's what a lot of other regs do. It's very rare you'll see 2 regs battling for the lobby because, there's just no reason to in like Sky's high rake environment, I guess. But it's certainly what I need to get back to doing because I'm sat there complaining there aren't many tables running. Well, just fucking start some, Reg. Stop being a fucking fanny.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it can still be slow sometimes. Like if you can be sat there for a while and no one shows up, but it's definitely good.
Well, I think the reason for that I'm not keen on doing that these days is because I spent most of the summer playing Unibet, Triple H Snap, and iPoker, where there's just loads of tables. So like your session starts and you're straight into it, straight up to pace. And I kind of got used to that. So now I'm not used to like starting a session. And maybe 10 minutes in, still staring at an empty table.
Those I watched a couple of your Snap videos, and some of those games looked pretty like dry, didn't they?
Oh, they're awful, mate. They are awful. I mean, they're not good regulars. There's tons and tons of like proper nits. There's definitely some bots on there, unquestionably some bots. There's players. I talked about it with a couple of people now. There's like 4 or 5 accounts that all have exactly the same like open sizes pre. They all have pretty much. I've got like maybe 4,000 or 5,000 hands on them now, and the stats are all starting to converge. And every one of them's got this same weird thing where they open 3.4x pre, but if somebody limps, they all just ISO to 3x. And there's no way there's 5 people out there with similar stats using the same strategy of that. That has to be a bot. I'm almost certain of it. To go from like 3.4x open to someone limps and you're just 3xing it.
Yeah, that is kind of strange.
That can't be right. And they've all got very similar stab burst, miss c-bet stats, stuff that you wouldn't expect. They're just too similar, and there's unquestionably some bots. And I just yeah. I wanted to get volume. The reason I was doing that mostly was I'm making a lot of changes to my game, so I want to build up a sample size quite quickly so I can see what's working and what isn't. And I just messed myself up because I was playing in bad games for ages. I've made changes to my game that I haven't got a fucking clue what I'm doing with them, and now it's kind of like reinvigorated my addiction to playing 700 hands an hour, whereas I used to be a guy who'd play 230 hands an hour on Sky and probably win at 20 bigs and not give a fuck. So I just need to get back to like my old approach of doing things in terms of my game selection and how I get into games, and then just put some of the new stuff I've learned that's really good, put that into practice. I think, and that's easy to do. I just need to be motivated enough to do it, I guess.
Did you say you're working with, is it BBZ?
No, I'm not working with them. They just want to basically sell stuff through the Facebook group and give me a cut, basically.
Nice.
And I'll be honest with you, that hasn't gone very well so far. Most people have just been like, yeah, fine, interesting. There've been like plenty of link clicks and very little take up. So that's probably going to go down pretty badly. I don't. I was quite excited at first. BBC, they're obviously a big fucking outfit. I thought a few people would be interested, but I guess most people have heard of them. So the ones who want to use them will just use them anyway. And advertising to a group, maybe that academy might pick up where they're trying to find players to stake. Maybe that might get a little bit of traction. But I thought maybe we'd have sold more packages by now. We sold one so far. So
no, I mean,
yeah. So that's probably not going to work out.
What I mean is more like, did you say in one of your videos you got they gave you a course?
Yes, they gave me a bundle, and it's technical.
It's technical.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got you.
I'm only like on the first section, so I've still got like flop turns and ribbons and stuff to go. But whether I get through it or not, I don't know, because it's not really how I enjoy.
It might not
learning.
be what you need right now.
Well, yeah, it's what I fucking need. It's just not how I enjoy learning.
Oh, okay, got you.
I imagine it's the sort of thing that could be really good for like really, really keen students, and for fat old lazy cunts like me, maybe not quite so good. But anyway, I don't want to give them a try to flog them things. I don't really want to be saying they're not for me on video too often. So here we have, let's 10-9 suited with isolated recreational player. This Goose. He 3-bets a lot. I don't know if he 3-bets more versus me because he's aware I'm a nit or not. But
he's very aggressive, isn't he? I remember playing against him.
This was like the third time he'd 3-bet me in like 20 minutes. And I'm aware this hand isn't one of the better hands to defend versus 3-bets, especially at a position, because it interacts badly with like the higher boards. People just gonna have higher straights and us higher flushes, etc. But I'll be honest with you, I just got fucking sick of him.
No, I think it's fine against this player in particular.
So I called. We flopped the world, and this is just like flop decision. I'm going to end up going for the jam here, but I'm not sure if we need to be going for the jam. If we get it in here, we're not going to be in rough shape. But is there a better way to play against this player? Do we have any check calls ever?
I think the standard is definitely to play aggressively, just because you've smashed the board. You know what I mean? And in terms of sizing. Yeah, I can't really think of another sizing.
No, I mean, if he'd made his 3-bets smaller, because he made it up to like 14.5 bigs pre, and now he's another 15 bigs. If this was like, if he'd made it 9 or 10x pre and we'd have called, I wouldn't have. The check jamming's not a thing. But at this stage, are we really going to make it? Or what does making it 9 achieve or 8 achieve that jamming doesn't achieve?
Exactly.
It's almost the same thing, isn't it? So I went for the jam.
The one thing I would say is against this. From what I remember, like, he is... Obviously, I've not played on Sky cash games for ages, but I remember this player being very aggressive. So, with that in mind, like, calling's not terrible. Because if, let's say, they've got, like, ace, queen, ace, jack, and they're just going to blast off, then it's just making more money, if you know what I mean? Like, against someone who's just, like... who might be more prone to just, like, barreling with air, if you know what I mean.
So if you did check call here, are you just like not folding any turn no matter what, because you know he's going to barrel a lot?
Not against this guy.
Yeah.
No. But check. I'd say check raising is definitely the standard play here.
Yeah, I just want sure if I'd like kind of overplayed my hand a little bit with the jam.
No, it's
I mean, he ends up folding, so it's nothing much interesting happens. But yeah,
Oh, that's
that
good.
one is
It's a
what it
nice
is.
pot. Take it down.
So some of these hands aren't super interesting because they haven't put as much volume in as much lately, so it's been harder to find interesting hands to look at. This one's actually a fucking tournament hand.
Oh,
That's how desperate I am for
look at
fucking
this.
for
I thought you were playing a
hands to
bit
look
of
at.
4080.
I considered it, but it wasn't running, so I couldn't do that. I mean, this is probably a terrible call, but we have Duchess in the small blind who's incredibly passive,
I,
so I
one
thought I'd get away with it.
one thing I know is I'm not sure about these positions, but I know that in tournaments you can call from the small blind a lot more. That I think. Although I know nothing about tournaments to be honest, but I think that it's more okay to call from the small blind in general.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
I know like
he
in
did pot
cash
size
games.
open. Is that based on not playing on Sky where people open for pot and more likely people are opening for less than like that 2.5 bigs and there's antes? Is that, or is it not much
It
of a
might be,
difference?
yeah. I mean, I to be honest, I just don't know. I think it's the upswing ranges I had.
Yeah.
I looked at the cash game ones and there was like no small blind flats. Then I looked at the tournament ones and there was like a bunch, particularly against that early position. Like you could flat like queen 10 stuff like that.
Ah, right.
Which
I
blew
like
my mind when I
I like
first saw it.
I like the sound of that because I like seeing flops. I like that's
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
things that pisses me off about poker these days. Regs don't let you see flops cheaply, and I'm all about the cheap flops. Me, I
Yeah,
enjoy them.
yeah.
I'm a flop junkie for a nit. I'm a flop junkie. So this hand, it's kind of pretty much plays itself
You're gonna
until the river. I think. I mean, maybe we could have just check raised there. I don't know if
uh,
you think we could have.
I'd probably check raise here, yeah. Um I can see what you think. Are you thinking like kind of you got the three of hearts, so it's
I'm a
or-
fuck. Oh no, I'm a fuck thinking that. I'm just thinking I don't care. I've got a set, and I don't want to discourage this guy from keeping betting. Um, that was basically it. He's potted it pre. He's now potted the flop, and I'm like, fine. This guy's just going to keep putting money in. So let's my plan was just check call down. I thought if he's potted pre, he's potted flop, he's probably just got a big hand. He's maybe think about check raising the turn and then just getting him committed there, rather than like check raise him now and like tip him off. The plan was originally check call this pot size bet and then just check raise the turn, but then I got dissuaded
yeah,
from
yeah, that
doing
sounds
that
right.
because of the turn. Like, well,
Got you.
now I'm not as in love with. I mean, fine, we probably still have the best hand, but if we jam, like, is he going to
Oh yeah,
call it
definitely
off
call
with?
now, yeah.
Is he likely to call it off with worse that often on the
Yeah,
board,
yeah.
that coordinated? Probably not. So it didn't feel like jamming was good anymore.
Yeah, definitely call now with that. That's like the worst card ever in it.
Yeah, it's not ideal. And then that one comes.
That river's lovely.
And
Although it'd be interesting if he goes for it here, which I presume he does.
yeah, he does.
That like because it's quite an interesting story selling into like I have a straight or a flush. Yeah, I mean I'd probably just side fold, but I don't know. It's a bit because I don't think he's actually repping the. There's not like a. If you like think about how many hands he's opening, like he's not. It's not loads and loads of hands, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't
That's
think
not.
a recreational player. Well, I assume this guy is because, I've never seen him before. If I've seen him, I've not tagged him. Do I think they're doing this for like a set of nines or a set of tens? It's pretty much never. I don't think. Not on this run out.
No,
I think they are
definitely
going to be like very polarized to like incredibly strong hands or nothing. My problem is that how often do randoms on Sky just go fucking pot with nothing? It's potted pre, it's potted flop, it's potted
Yeah,
turn.
exactly.
Jam.
Yeah.
How often do they do that with? No, I actually agree with you. I think this is the fold, and this is like an indication of where my mental game is because look how quickly I mean, this is just never a call in my book, but my mental game just like literally snapped because I just couldn't be asked. Like, oh fuck you, mate, and that's not good. It's a £20 tournament, and I'm just like not giving a fuck, and just literally snapping it off because my plan was check call down, so that's what I'm fucking doing. I think this is like this is pure bad mental game call because this
would you so would you say like before like on the flop in your head you were like okay I'm gonna check call down
yes.
and then you just like
Well,
despite
the first plan was check call check raise turn. Then the 8 of hearts come like, right, now I can't check raise turn, it's just check call. So my plan was just like, don't fold now. And then another dreadful card came. I mean, I'd much rather this was like the offsuit deuce or something, obviously, because then it would make sense. But to like, to me, this shouldn't be a call. And I did it purely because I just fuck it, you know. Yeah, if I don't call here, I've got half a stack in a mega stack, like 45 minutes in. Even though I've got a really soft table, so it's far from a lost cause. It's just a bad mental game. I remember specifically thought, I don't give a fuck, I'm just calling. Then that's not clever. I mean, as it happens, it worked out all right because he had fucking
ace king.
He had ace king, which is just fucking mental.
He's got the blocker.
So I mean, I mean,
so it worked
his,
out. I mean,
his line should work. To be fair, he played the hand better than me, I guess. But...
Well, it's interesting though because like he's like just bombed every street, and it's almost like it's a bit convenient that you happen to just have like a flush or a straight here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it. So well, it worked out well for you.
It did work out well, but that's classic example of do something you shouldn't do because you can't be asked and working out. It's not due to my skill, is it? I think I played flop and turn okay. I played the river fucking rubbish and won the maximum. So that's it.
But I think it's definitely worth considering. Like, it just didn't seem at the time. Did you kind of? I know you acted quite quickly, but on the river, did you think, this doesn't seem? Something seems wrong here. You know what I mean? Like just like the way the boards run out, it doesn't.
Yeah, I think maybe I could have had that thought and called anyway, because I'm not good at folding fucking sets. But I just think against population on Sky, this is going to be a major losing call long term on the river. Major losing call. I just didn't give, and also something that I shouldn't do because I'm really struggling to concentrate. I was watching Par's stream last night. I don't play very well when I'm watching streams, but there's like 8 million Sky streamers now. So if I didn't play when I was watching streams, I'd never fucking play. And I'm always nagging them to play because I enjoyed them. I enjoyed like the sense of community of them and stuff like that. But I was like, you're trying to keep one eye on the stream, and then you try to play as well.
Are you doing a stream on Saturday?
Yes, I'm doing one with Juice. Yeah. I mean, I haven't got the technical skills to set on my own stream these days. I used to have someone who set it all up for me the first time around. I literally just went on TeamViewer with them and said, right, you take over my computer. Try not to fucking look at all the porn, and we did that. But I don't know. I haven't really got the time to stream as much anymore. Well, I've got the time, but I haven't got the inclination to.
What time on Saturday?
7 o'clock on Juicenberg Street. It will be good fun because Juice is like me. He's a middle-aged fucking bad-tempered old fucker who doesn't like the way poker's going, but he's still trying his best to fucking like keep playing. So it will be a lot of fun because we'll both be like being utter cunts about our opponents. They'll be like, when I've actually said to him, it's my mission to get you banned from streaming Sky. Because I got banned like 2 years or more ago now. Sky emailed me and said stop making videos.
I remember that.
You basically, our customers think you're a dick. It's my ambition to get Juicenberg banned on Saturday night, and to be honest with you, the way he's been talking lately, I don't think he'd give a fuck if he was. I mean, obviously we won't get him banned, but there'll be all kinds of fucking spite and.
No, he always came across a really nice guy. I played cash games with him.
He is a nice guy. He's a nice guy. I don't know if you've caught many of his streams, but
I have before. Yeah.
They're good fun. All the Sky streamers are good fun. You know,
it's interesting to see Sky streamers because obviously it's come in like after I've finished playing Sky, if you know what I mean. So it's interesting to kind of put voices and faces to names.
Well, that was my curiosity at first. Just, what does this cunt look like? And I've literally barely missed a fucking minute since because he just speaks my language. We're a similar age, similar era. He's got similar music. Everything about him is just kind of in common with me, except he voted for Boris Johnson twice and I didn't.
Well, so that's in common as well, right?
No, that's not in common. So really, I should think he's a total bell end because I think he voted he's voted Tory once in the general election and he voted twice for Boris Johnson to be mayor of London. Although he said the first time he did it just for a fucking laugh, so fuck knows what made him do it the second time.
Maybe he just wants to build back better.
Maybe. Fuck off. Did you see them videos of the week? Build back butter, build back bitter. What a cunt he is. He's just a fucking pantomime villain, isn't he? And sadly, anyway, no politics. Crack on. Next hand. Right, this is a limp pot.
Limp pot, okay.
And it's going to be...
I do like how you've... So I think like maybe half a year ago, I was going way too far with isolating limps. Like I'd literally like isolate with like this hand, which is like mad.
Well, even at the
But
big blind, you would isolate with it. You would try just
yeah,
raise
yeah,
still.
yeah, out of
Yeah,
position, everything. Like I realized I was doing it, and I was like, "What the hell are you doing, man?"
yeah. I mean,
like
I was trying to do some like open limping experiments a while back, but I got ridiculed for it, rightly so. Um, it was on Unibex. I thought if there's a place to do it. It's Unibex. It's anonymous, and I was
yeah,
like very surprised how infrequently I was being isolated. Because back when
yeah, yeah,
I was a lad, you know, back in like 2006, 7, 8, it was just all about isolate the limper, isolate the limper, isolate the limper, and there was fucking many of them, and it's just I just don't think people are isolating like these days. It used to be like you said, you see some cunt limp, 8-7 off, just isolate, get heads up against him. You know, it's going to be shit. And I think people just ISO pretty fucking narrowly these days, pretty narrowly.
yeah, yeah. And positions key as well into it.
Yeah, I'd imagine that like if someone's got their 28% cut off open range, they only ISO half of that, which doesn't make fucking sense to me. You know, if anything, you want to be maybe even going a little bit wider because there's more dead money in the pot. There's more money to steal.
Yeah, it depends on a few things, doesn't it? Like
Yeah,
you might have some aggressive regs that'll you can get into leveling wars sometimes
yeah,
where
true,
like
true.
but that's not like that's only a small slice of the pie, if you know what I mean. Like it's usually not there's not many players where you have to really be massively worried about that,
Yeah,
particularly at kind of like a lower
I
stake.
just find myself limping like all the really good hands that wanted to limp raise, and more often than not getting the chance to limp raise, and then just going like three ways to flop with aces with three big blinds in it. And I was like, oh,
That's me.
this isn't good anymore. Anyways, but that's a topic for another day when I finally fucking lose my mind. So this one, my strategy in these like limp pots when there's no one got the pre-flop progression and a flop where they just like over bet and just hope they fucking got something.
Okay.
So we do get the snap call. So
Yeah.
I get over bet the turn again. Maybe I could go even bigger. I'm not sure.
I think it's a good board as well for what you're thinking.
And
Because
then
there's so many draws they can call with.
yeah, so on this run out now in a double over bet pot, what the fuck are we supposed to do on this river with like a pot sized bet left? I don't think a jam gets called too often. And then we have the do we bet fold to a raise? Well, fuck me. I don't. Again, we know why I don't want to do that because emotionally I'm not stable enough to fucking do that these days. So what's the line here now? Do we
I'd
just
I'd quite like probably check call, like because I know like there's a four line to or like a gut shot to a straight out there. Like if he has a four, he has a straight. But how many fours is he really going to have? Like calling like an overbet on the flop, like 4-5, maybe some suited, some hands with like the four of spades and maybe. But I don't see like, and obviously 8-9's there as well. But he might raise that on the turn. So I just think check call's fine here.
yeah? Well, I went with check call. I wasn't sure if I was just being lazy.
I think it's fine. Like you could bet small as well if you wanted. It is rough. I think I'd call.
Yeah, and he just
Yeah,
had that, which is whatever.
yeah.
Again, I'm not trying to dig this fella out. I just wasn't sure if like we should just shove the river to like get value from his like worst ace X that probably still won't fold if he's a recreational player. If he's sat there with like an ace 10, do we? I guess the question to ask him is, do we think this guy's folding ace 10 to a shove? If he is, then I guess we probably need to check, like you say. If he's calling it with a shove, then I think shoving probably is better. But I don't know. It just felt a little bit lazy to me. Like I'm going to check, and I just hoped it went check check. I thought if he bets, I'm probably fucked, but I'm not folding. And even if I've got to the right outcome again, I don't think I got there with the right mindset. Even if he won the hand.
What makes you think that you're probably fucked?
Because I think a lot of the time he's just going to have maybe a 6x or a 7x or like and I think it's going to have some kind of showdown value that maybe he shouldn't be calling two overbets with, but it's Sky and he's probably a recreational player. So I think he's going to like have more stuff he probably shouldn't have that's got showdown value that will just check back. So when he does
I get what you
it's
mean.
going to either have like a really strong hand and rarely
I
bluff.
thought.
Because quite
Sorry, I
often
thought you meant if he jammed, you're probably fucked. But you mean like just checking?
No, yeah, I mean, if he jams, my read on most of these Sky players is that they will check back made hands they shouldn't have got that far with. They won't turn them into bluffs, even though this guy has. And crucially, they won't always, like, I've seen lots of players here just get to this river with that hand like 10-9 of spades and then just give up with it. You know, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't so I think his betting range is going to mostly just be better than what we've got somehow, either with the straight
but
or what have you.
yeah, but I just think with that, it's such a narrow, like it's 8-9 pretty much, and like maybe the odd four
Yeah.
that Ray randomly has. Like it's not a nice looking board, but if you think about how it's played out, like he shouldn't really have a four too often. If he has 8-9, he has 8-9.
Yeah.
You know,
It was
play
convenient
to
for
him.
me that the spades missed because that gave me a very easy reason to call. Oh well, you know,
Yeah.
the spades have missed. Let's just fucking call. So yeah, that was that one again. Whereas I won the hand, and maybe I made the right decisions in every point, but I'm not happy with like
With how you got there,
with
and they, yeah,
I'm not happy
and
with
your
my
thought
like
process.
my river thought process, which is to fuck it, just check call reg. You know, there's not enough love going into it, and that goes back to my like lack of motivation we talked about earlier. Just general, whatever. And I'm a pretty laid back, chilled out fucking person. But you can't just beat me, whatever, when you're playing poker and you're facing 50 big blind bets, you know. I mean, it's 11
Yeah, I
quid.
got you.
It's not going to change my life. But if you make too many, like, 11 quid calls, you're soon going to become a losing player. And long term.
That's nearly 4 meal deals there.
Yeah. Well, long term, the problem is if you make too many of them, so you end up being a break even player or what have you.
Exactly.
Then,
It's a big. Well, it's a lot of big blinds anyway, and it's a big. It's a massive leak if you are paying off. But I just think, obviously, yeah, you just got to think just how it's played out. Think about what hands beat you, and it's like how likely are they to have that? Like, I just think in this spot, it's pretty unlikely that. I think that you calling is profitable. Let's just say that.
I've just realised he's river two pair. I thought you only had the 5.
No,
I didn't realise it was river two pair, right? Yeah, so yeah, I know what you're saying. I do know exactly what you're saying, and it's 100% correct. I think the reason this hand's in there is because at the river, it didn't matter what he did. I mean, that fucking river could have come a 7 or something like that. I think I was just in fuck you check call mode. This is more of, again, like a mindset thing where...
A bit like the threes hand.
Yeah, just fuck it, I don't care. And you can't have a fuck it, I don't care attitude if you have to make some money from poker. I don't have to make a lot of money from poker. If I'm making £400-500 a month with my other stuff I've got coming in, that's more than enough. But if you keep making too many sloppy calls, then you're not going to be making that £400-500 a month, even in fucking soft games. So yeah, my motivation, like I said at the start, is not really there at the minute, but it needs.
Did you like snap call that, or did you think about it?
I thought about it a little bit, but mentally I'd snap called it. I don't know what's going on here. This is going to change in a minute. This is me being shit at video.
Oh, this is your defending ranges, right?
No, this is
3-5 off.
This is me being a total fucking moron, and there you go. You've all seen the hand beforehand. So anyway, we're there now. Anyway, I thought I'd pause the video when I was like switching between tables, but I fucking clearly hadn't. And so we've 4x under the gun here because they're all recreational players. So
yeah, I like it.
I don't mind doing that. And this is going to be like a turn and river thing. So we bet pretty big because again, like recreational. That. Go big again on the turn for the same reasons as everything else, and that happens, which is just like, you know, this is like it's never a bluff.
We all know what's happening here.
It's always value. And again, years ago, and rightly or wrongly, I would have fucking folded this and not given the shiniest of shites. And it's been like, I don't care. You know, fine, he can have some bluffs here, but I mean, he's check min raise the turn. I mean, if he's fucking bluffing here, then hats off to you, mate. I have my money. That's what I would have been like in the past, because I'd just been like, this is just pure value. And we're fucked to most of his value. Basically, we need him to have like Queen X of spades, I guess. And even then, it probably just checked. That hand probably just check calls. So this is always going to be like minimum 2 pair, quite often at like a slow played set or something.
Yeah, like I mean, I wouldn't quite say always, but very, very. Like every so often, someone will be doing something crazy, but you're right. this is
enough of the time
it's
though.
a horrible feeling. But
I mean, we've got to put another 340 in here plus 771. So what's that? So it's £11. Because you know what's happening in the river. He's always going to fucking jam the river.
yeah,
So
yeah.
this 680, it should be £11. And that's what that's why I would just fold this turn because
Yeah, it's a good way of thinking about it. Definitely. Like if you know they're definitely going to jam the river,
so
then
so
can
this
you hear
just
me?
yeah, I can hear you. I'm just like trying to because I know that most people will say you can't fold here, Ed. You cannot fold, and then some people will be like, call now and then see what happens on the river. But when you already know what's going to happen on the river, the vast majority of the time, and we just if our plan is like call here and fold to a river jam, well, surely we're just fucking burning like 17 big blinds.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean it's not nice, and I'm sure people would disagree with folding here, but it's just like with what the turn is, and with he's a recreational player that's just min check raise the turn. He just all signs point to value, mate.
Yeah, they do exactly. And this is like the stuff that really annoys me because, like I say, when I was a better player than I am now, I would have folded this and wouldn't have thought fucking twice about it. And then I would have like somehow tried to post a hand somewhere so I could attract all the fucking salt because I used to love the salt coming at me for being a fucking nit. Because I'd be confident that Folding's the best player here, even though
Yeah.
theoretically fucking it's incredibly exploitable. Blah blah blah. Is Mickey G52 the guy who's going to be looking to exploit me with
Mickey G.
turn check min raise? Is not, is he? Mickey G52 is not that fucking man. I mean, no disrespect to you, Mickey, but you don't look like someone who's well studied. So I mean, yeah, we can't do this. If regular started just routinely check min raising me knowing I'm overfolding, that's a problem. But it's not a problem in this spot, and I think I should just have folded, and not even giving it any fucking thought. Then
Bad
yeah,
aggro.
that's what fucked me. I clicked on my fucking note. I saw the bad aggro, and I wish I hadn't clicked the fucking note now. Because if I hadn't clicked the note, there's not a chance I would have made the call. But I saw the bad aggro and thought, well, we have to call against a bad aggro guy, don't we? He jams and he just had that.
Oh, bloody
you know.
hell.
So yeah, I mean, he's got a bad hand, and it's not a bad beat story because I'm really annoyed with myself
Yeah.
that I should just have got away on the turn. As it
But
happens, we were probably priced in to suck out on him, but I mean, we weren't to know that. Queen two's probably the worst hand he's doing that with in terms of value.
yeah. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? How I'm sure there'll be people watching this who like just think, oh, you can never fold there. But it's just when people do this, like most players, they just have it.
Yeah,
And and even though you are technically losing money in the hand, because obviously you've put money in and you're folding, like the people who do this regularly, you're making a ton of money. Like, because you're just getting away from spots where maybe they're not, maybe sometimes once in a blue moon, you've got the best hand that you're folding, but that's fine. Like you can be bluffed sometimes. That's okay.
yeah. I used to set the piss out of a friend of mine, saying that like, we play live. And he's actually my best fucking friend in the whole world. And I used to say to him that every time he called my bluff, I'm like, fucking hell, Dave, you don't fold many winners, do you? And I used to set the piss out of him for like never folding when he got raised and like being a total calling station. And that's exactly what I fucking become at the minute. I'm just a total non-believer. People don't get bluffs past me very often because I just never fucking fold. They might bluff me off my ace highs and maybe like some really, really weak stuff. But if I've got any kind of reasonable hand, I'm not folding anywhere near as much as I should to aggression. And again, I think that's a bit to do with watching stuff about, if you fold these hands, you become exploitable. So I'm more worried about not being exploited by Mickey G52 than I am by just making what is probably the correct play long term against that particular player. Because, like I say, 2 years ago, even 6 months ago, I'd have snap folded that on the turn.
Well, Mickey G52's had you on toast here, mate.
He has. He's absolutely fucking binned me, and I hope he enjoys the money. I really do.
Yeah, fair play to him.
Here, you're not going to like this one because
Is there a flat coming here?
there's a flat coming, and you're not going to like it. The reason I flat is I didn't realise that Liam was at the hand. Liam likes to squeeze, and I thought for some reason the blinds were Liam and Camel, and I know Camel likes to squeeze too. He's actually, I think he's one of the best players in the pool. He's certainly going to have some fucking squeezes here, especially when I flat, because he knows that I don't fight particularly hard against him. Or against good players in general. So I kind of expected the squeeze to be coming, and I wanted to be a smart ass. Didn't work out because the squeeze didn't come, but never mind. We just get a four-way fucking pot instead.
Okay, so yeah, I'd pre-flop. Yeah,
Yeah, of
just
course.
you know what
Yeah,
I'm gonna say.
yeah, of course. And normally, I mean, I think there is some cases to be made, but sometimes not always three betting these hands, especially if you've got recreational players to act behind you. Because I think you can get more value from them post flop than you can win from your pre flop three bet. But I'm not certain of the maths on that because
Well, yeah, I mean, if there's let's say the biggest spot of the tables in the big blind, and like you're on the button and a reg opens, yeah, I could definitely get behind sometimes flatting.
yeah,
Like because you want to be in there with the recreational player, but yeah, usually you want to just
yeah, of
raise.
course, and I am most of the time, but it wasn't. And I could have just hidden this hand and pretended it never happened. But
Well, no, that's what
what's the
I
point in
think is
doing
really
that?
good. Like you're very open with these hands, and a lot of people won't be, but it's how you get better, isn't it? Like you just
Well,
talk to other people about your hands.
Used to be how I got better. So anyway, this guy now like bets really big, considering it's multi-way.
Yeah.
There's no reason to raise, so we don't.
I might raise here.
Oh, you might raise there, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Multi-way on a board that dry, you might raise. So what's your reason
Yeah.
for raising on that board multi-way?
Well, like for me, it may sound a bit silly, but it makes the hand just like a lot easier to play.
I like that.
And
I
you can,
like shit like that because I do a lot of my stuff just for the purely that reason.
Yeah, and you're losing to. So he's opened, right? You're losing to ace 10, a7 suited sets. Like it's not a, yeah, you have ace king. So like he can be betting like way worse for sure. So and I know it's multi-way, but I also think that if you raise and then face more resistance, you just know that you're cooked, so you can just fold. But at the same time, you're also getting value from his ace queen, his ace jack, his ace 9 suited. You know, there's.
So do you think that regulars, because this bet pot is not tagged, but I see him a lot. I think he's a reg. I'm not sure what to make of him, which is why he isn't tagged. So you think a regular would like bet call ace queen here when he gets raised by someone he likely thinks is a nit multi-way on this board?
I wouldn't put too much stock into like him thinking of your image. Like it's probably part of the picture, but like, you know, like he might just call. But then again, calling's fine as well. But it's also kind of a bit of a strange one because I wouldn't like usually if you have ace king on like an ace high board, it's often heads up. So that's like kind of how the that's like what I'm used to in terms of how to play it, if you know what I mean. But yeah, anyway, calling's fine. We'll see what develops. I can imagine there's going to be something interesting happening.
It's a river, really. I think I misplayed the turn because he checks.
Okay.
So I was thinking about betting, but I checked back because my reason is I want to raise the river. I think like he's going to bet check, and I'm only going to get one street. So I'm either going to check back, he's going to check the river, I'm going to bet. I don't think we've got a hand where I don't think I'm going to get check called 3 streets. So my plan was check back. If he leads a river, raise him. If he doesn't, then bet and get my value there. That was why I checked back the turn.
I definitely like a bet on the turn because like if he has like a worse ace than you, then he might just call 2 streets, and you've got the old Jamie Gold top. So happy days for you. But
yeah, I guess that's where we think differently because I didn't think I would get 2 more streets. And again, maybe I'm overplaying what I think my image is here. I think I'd struggle to get 3 streets from this hand against a regular because I think they probably continue betting their good aces. I think he probably just continues barreling ace queen, ace jack here quite often. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking what other players think of me because I think they'll know I'm a Nate. He's not going to pay me off 2 streets, so I'll try and get 2 streets by checking back turn and trying to get a raising on the river. Try and get me 3 streets that way because that's effectively like 3 streets. You know, if he bets and then calls the river raise, then it's like getting a turn bet and a river bet in then. And maybe sometimes he just turns a hand into a bluff on the river once I check back, trying to get me off, some floats that I might have, some like whatever 10x or something that's called once, and if he's got worse than that, say he's got a hand like pocket sixes or pocket eight or something, he might be in check forward mode, but when I check back, he might try and take me off a 10 or a 7 or something on the river by betting again, so I get to catch that. And then, like I said, I didn't think I'd get called twice, so that's why I did what I did. And he bets the river, and I just wasn't sure what size to raise to, so he's betting whatever that was, like half potish, is it? Something like that. So what size would your raise be to here? Or would you not raise here?
I'd raise. As played, I'd raise. Something like 770 to 8 quid sounds good.
Let's see what I did. I think I went a little bit smaller than that. I think I went somewhere in the 6 region, I think. I don't know, 7. Where got up to 7? 680. A bit small. But I was just trying to milk him, basically. I just wanted, like, he's like, his ace jack, stuff like that.
With the small sizing, you got to get called by worse, right? So, yeah, I can see that.
I mean, as it happens, he calls, he has the best hand. And I think whatever way we play it, if we, like, bet the turn, we bet the turn he's calling, and then I'd probably bet the river too. And so I think we lose the same amount whichever way I play it, but I wasn't...
Yeah, I mean, I just, because if you 3-bet this hand, and, like, he might fold, but he might call, like, and then this spot where it's 10-7 ace, you have ace-king, they have ace-2. Obviously, like, it's river to 2 this time, but it's just like...
Yeah, long term he's not going to.
You're just going to... It's just so good to get into these spots where you have the... It's why you 3-bet ace-king, basically, because when it's ace-high, and you're just going to have the best... Like, if you both have aces, then you're just going to make a ton of money.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So that's it, mate. That's all the hands. Thank you very much for joining me. I do appreciate that.
No worries. I really enjoyed it.
I don't think the hands have been, like, super interesting, but like I said, I've not been putting the volume into
I think
to get the hands.
The concepts you brought up were interesting, though. Like, some of the hands brought them out, like, with just, like, how you're thinking about the game and stuff, and how that can then, like, affect some decisions you make. But yeah, like, I just what I'd say is just, like, maybe, like, don't go into a hand just, like, with a set, I'm definitely doing this, and also just, like, take your time. Like, I often, like, act way too quickly myself, and some decisions are automatic, and that's cool, but then, like, you can just, like, thinking about something for 5 or 10 seconds can really help.
Yeah, one of my leaks has always been in, like, tough spots, I'll make a decision quickly just to fucking avoid the pain of fucking what to do. I'll just, like, instinctively make a decision and do it, and sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. But you're right, just sitting and like just thinking it through a little bit more. Even if you end up going with what you instinctively thought, at least you've
your instincts are often really good. Like, instincts are often where you should be going.
Yeah,
but
this is what I was talking to Matt about last night. Like, it sounds fucking stupid, and it sounds really fishy and old school, but I don't think it is. Like, I used to be like play a hell of a lot on feel, even online. Just feel based on people's timing tells, based on what I'd seen from them, based on this and that, and just, like, I was very much an instinctive player, and it worked really well for me because I think I've got genuinely, like, pretty decent poker instincts, or at least I used to before the game moved on. And since I've started, like, trying to add these new things to my game, it's kind of like maybe ignore a lot of my instincts. And a lot of the time, what I've ended up doing has been worse than what I instinctively wanted to do. So, yeah, I'm just, like I said right at the start, I'm in, like, a confused spot at the minute where I think I've tried to learn too much too quickly and not learned any of it anywhere near well enough to start implementing it. I think that's mainly my issue. And then the secondary issue is that it's not as easy to get tables where you've just got 3 or 4 absolute fucking morons where even if you do make the occasional mistake,
is that including you or
absolutely fucking no, it's including me. It's absolutely including me at the minute. I think I've gone from being like one of the better, more consistent regs on Sky to just being one of the pack. I mean, my last video I put King of 20 and L just as a fucking troll because I'm anything fucking but at the minute. I think I can get back there because another thing I was saying to Matt last night is, like, I think a lot of these regulars I'm overestimating how good they are because I'm seeing them like using like new school sizings and assuming that they're really well studied and using all them appropriately when in reality they're probably fucking not.
They
A lot of them are probably like me. They don't study as much as they should. Especially like I'm lucky in terms of I've got more time because I don't work or I work very few hours. Whereas a lot of these
yeah
guys will be working 37 hours a week. And how do you fit study and playing when you're working 37 hours a week? So they're probably maybe watching a video now and again, watching it once, not taking notes, and doing what I'm doing, just misapplying a lot of stuff. But I'm
yeah.
seeing them using these sizes and thinking, oh, these guys have improved a lot. When they probably haven't. They probably just made some changes to their game
But
that they're
yeah,
not
you
applying
like
very
see
well.
him, you see him bet 1/3 on the flop, and you think they're like Tom Dwan.
Yeah, yeah. I just
So
think, oh,
I get that
these
feeling.
guys are doing all these fucking magic things. When actually they're probably a lot of them are probably similar to me, and like, oh, I know I need to use these sizes now, so I'm just using them. But they're not entirely sure why they're fucking doing it, and I guess they're getting into some spots the same as me. So in my head, a lot of these regs have overtaken me when in reality they probably fucking haven't. And I just need
Yeah,
to stop
yeah,
leveling myself a lot.
it's and paranoia is a big part of it as well. Like in terms of how I feel sometimes, like you just think, oh, I'm getting absolutely run over here. Whereas in reality, it's very easy to go through like a stretch of variance where it seems like that,
Yeah,
but it's
absolutely.
not actually the
Yeah.
case. Um, so yeah, just if I would just simplify things down a bit, like just using your instincts is fine. There's nothing wrong with using your instincts. And
Well, the thing is, I used to really trust my instincts, and at the minute I don't. And I guess that's something I need to fix because I used to really massively trust them. I'd make some outrageous folds, I'd make some occasional just outrageous river bluffs, just knowing that the vast majority of the time they were going to work. And a lot of the things I used to just do through this is the right thing to do, Reg, so just fucking do it. I don't have that confidence anymore in terms of just fucking do this, Reg. So I end up just fucking like half a Martha in it, just somewhere in the fucking middle, and it's just not as good. But I'm confident I can get back to it.
you definitely can.
But I need to fucking want to, I guess, and that's my problem at the minute. I'm still dipping around fucking different sites all the time. There's no consistency. I did a little bit of Unibet last night. I put 300 quid on within like 25 minutes. I took it back off again. So like this is fucking shit.
I've never got Unibet. I've always thought it was just very reggy.
It kind of there are some fish. It's probably outside of Sky, probably the softest place to play cash out of all the options. iPoker's just a fucking sewer, and there's definitely bots on iPoker too because there's about 5 players, and I think they're all Eastern European because I see it on 888 too. They've got British names, so there'll be like I think there's one that sticks out in my mind, Rick Wilson J or something. And then there's another one, I don't know, maybe it's called fucking Ian Botham F.
Ian Botham.
No, maybe no, I'm making the names up now.
Old beefies.
Yeah, or like
in the streets.
Peter Shilton J. And they've all got like an English name with a letter after it that's a capital, and they all play very similarly.
Foolproof.
Yeah, without question they have to be bot accounts too. So like iPoker's a fucking sewer, Triple Eight to sewer. I'm still excluded on PokerStars till 2024, so they can't go there anytime soon.
You excluded?
Well, I did it. Yeah, well, I did it. When we started playing on the apps, I was like, right, well, I don't need PokerStars now, and I got like addicted to Zoom. So I was like, fuck it, just self-exclude, Reg, and let's do it properly. So I just self-excluded for 5 years.
Oh my god!
And now I'm regretting it a little bit because now and again I wouldn't mind playing the tournament, but I can't. So never mind. So yeah, that's fucked for me. Party poker's a sewer when it comes to cash. I've looked at GG, but whenever I watch people streaming, I always see their little V pips next to people's names. It's very rare you see 1/25. So I'm like, well, those games can't be very fucking good either. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not that positive about the overall like no limit cash landscape at the minute. I think it's fucking dire. I think it's in as bad a place as it's ever been, which is probably the primary reason for my lack of motivation. Because I just think whenever I look, I'm not seeing good games. But so part of me is like, just start playing tournaments because that's a lot of decent like. I said at the start, people like Splashes and Sharky, or you don't see them in the cash streets now. They're just playing tournaments, and I'm assuming they're making money at it because those guys aren't fucking stupid. So part of me is thinking Reggie's got to become a tournament player like all the other fucking failed cash game regs. But I just don't like tournaments that much. I like them now and again. I don't want to play them every fucking night. So we'll keep battling away, mate. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I definitely mix a few tournaments in. I just think it's good value.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd never do them full time though. My God, that is brutal.
But I've got a pretty good record in the Megastack on Sky. But it's a bad tournament. You look at it and it's just fucking. It used to have like a 2,000 guarantee on it. This is another problem with Sky. It's not recovering. All the guarantees dropped in the summer, and by now we were expecting them with the Dark Knights coming and what have you to like traffic to come back, and it just doesn't seem to be. So Sky need to pull the finger out and like start advertising a little bit to get people back playing, because the cash game lobbies are pretty stale. The tournament guarantees have dropped and they're not recovering. And yeah, it's a problem. I actually went on the apps for the first time in ages a couple of weeks ago, and
I saw the video.
I wasn't overly impressed with the games in there either. Like, the $20 games are pretty soft, but I don't really want to be playing $20 NL, especially on apps where when you're for tabling, it's really slow still. And I thought like the $60 games didn't seem that fucking good to me. So I don't know. Maybe I think basically I've got a pretty negative mindset. I need to shake myself out of it, because everywhere I look, I just think that shit.
Well, I played last night, and when I like loaded it up, like there's a couple of nights ago, I loaded the tables up and they didn't look great, so I just like closed it down, messed about for, I don't know, watched YouTube for like half an hour or whatever, and came back and the games were good again. Like, it doesn't take long sometimes. Like, just like if the games aren't great, don't force yourself to play.
Yeah, didn't give it.
Yeah. So there's that as well. But yeah, cheers for having me on.
Sorry,
mate.
buddy,
Really
I was muted there. I was going to ask you about because the first few nights back on the apps, I played some Crazy Pineapple, and it was fucking amazing. I went like $500 up, and I thought, fuck me, I found a gold mine here. So then I got really fucking excited and played some 6-card PLO.
Oh,
I lost £700, $700 in 2 nights, and I've barely been back since. So I'm like 200 down on the apps, but the rate back will cover it, so it's not an issue. But yeah, I just like when I was like logging in, I think it was in like Diamond Union, which was fucking amazing. Now it doesn't seem too amazing to me.
Yeah, that was the place, wasn't it?
It was, and then they kicked us all out because you don't. Like
that was players. The one where it was like, you got your left leg in, and you're just like
that was the longest night of my life. That night we logged in, and like everyone was just saying, "Yeah, Reg, I've been kicked," and there was like $17,000 worth of player funds that couldn't be accounted. I was like, "Fuck me, this is stressful." I was literally up for 36 hours trying to sort that, because I was like, Rob was in Thailand at the time, so I was waiting for him to get hold of me. I couldn't speak to him until like 5 and 6 in the morning. Then I thought, well, I can't go to bed now because there's going to be people logging in and not seeing the fucking money, and I can't just be AWOL for 8 hours while this is happening. So I think I ended up staying awake for like 36 hours.
Oh my God.
We got people relocated to Dragon's Den, and it was all fine. But that was fucking horrific. But I was quite excited to get back into Diamond, and it seemed shit. And I was in one called The Pod, which had no traffic. And then, I can't remember what another one was called. But yeah, it didn't seem as good to me as it used to be.
Quite a few different ones.
And I wanted to look at PPP Puck, whatever it is, PPP, but I can't seem to find a download to put it on my computer now, which is a shame. I think that the link's blocked in the UK, so I can't even get that on my laptop to look at it.
To use an emulator? Or?
Well, I could, but if I'm going to use an emulator, I'd rather just fucking play on my tablet. What I liked about the PPP was it had the Windows download where you opened a table and it opened like you could have 4 or 5 tables lined up next to each other. I don't like playing on PPP on the app because the time bank's a little bit faster and it doesn't tell you when you've got cards and things, or it never used to. So I did want to look at PPP because when I look on my phone, some of the games in the Philippines Union look pretty good these days, but I can't get it on my laptop, and I prefer playing off my laptop than off my tablet if I can. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but probably not going to do anything about it, to be honest. But anyway, mate, I'll let you go because this video's gone on way too long and no fuck will be watching. If you're still watching now, type thank you, William, in the comments below. We'll see how many people actually get to this point.
Yeah.
If we get more than 3 thank you, Williams, I'll be fucking stunned.
I'd be delighted with that.
But thank you very much, mate. I really do appreciate you joining me.
No worries. Really enjoyed it, mate. Take care, mate. Bye.
You too. So that was William. Hope you guys enjoyed that. It was lovely for me to have a catch up with him. I've not spoke with him properly for a long time, and it was really, really nice to catch up with him. So I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed it. And if you didn't, well, who cares? Because I enjoyed it anyway. Don't forget, watch me and Juice on Saturday the 23rd of November. And if it's still before 7 p.m. on Friday the 22nd of November, go ahead and watch Waller tonight. You will not regret it. Take care, everybody. Have a lovely weekend. Stay safe. Stay well, and bye bye for now.